What if I told you that an entire town went insane overnight? People seeing demons, jumping from windows, convulsing as if something dark had taken over them. And that years before that, a young girl became possessed after making a forbidden pact, speaking unknown languages and even levitating? Are these just coincidences? Or is there something far more sinister behind these events? Today, you're about to discover two real stories that defied science and still haunt people to this day. But be careful, because the more you learn, the harder it will be to sleep tonight. Stay until the end, because what you're about to see might change the way you see reality. In the quiet halls of a convent in South Africa, something terrifying began to unfold in the year 1906. Clara Germanicel was a 16-year-old girl, seemingly ordinary. But according to reports, everything changed after she made a secret pact with the devil. From that moment on, Clara started behaving strangely. She spoke languages no one had ever taught her. Witnesses swore they heard her speaking Latin, German, French, languages a young girl with no formal education could never have known. And it didn't stop there. She became violent, attacking nuns and priests in the convent, and displayed inhuman strength. The most terrifying moment? Witnesses claimed Clara levitated before their very eyes, floating more than a meter above the ground. She also seemed to know the darkest secrets of those around her, as if something inside her could see beyond this reality. But if Clara was truly possessed, what happened to her next? How did it all end? As Clara's condition worsened, the nuns and priests at the convent knew they were dealing with something far beyond their understanding. They turned to the only solution they believed could save her: an exorcism. Two Catholic priests were assigned to perform the ritual. As they entered Clara's room, they were met with a horrifying sight. Her eyes, burning with rage, fixed on them. Clara screamed as they began to pray, her voice distorting into something inhuman, something that seemed to echo from the depths of another world. Then, in a moment that defied all logic, Clara's body was thrown into the air. She hovered for what felt like an eternity before crashing back down onto the bed. As the exorcism continued, Clara's body twisted in unnatural ways. She let out guttural sounds, cursing the priests in languages they couldn't even recognize. The battle between light and darkness went on for days. Clara fought with unimaginable strength, her body covered in deep scratches that seemed to appear out of nowhere. And then, in a final, chilling scream, the entity seemed to leave her. Clara collapsed. The nightmare was over, or so they thought. If you thought Clara's case was terrifying, wait until you hear what happened in a small town in France. Pont-Saint-Esprit, a quiet, peaceful town in the south of France. But in August of 1951, something unexplainable happened. Out of nowhere, hundreds of people started experiencing terrifying hallucinations. They saw demons crawling on walls, their own reflections warping into grotesque creatures. Some ran through the streets in panic. Others jumped from windows, convinced they could fly. One man, in horror, claimed his heart was being eaten by invisible beasts. But what caused this mass hysteria? Was it a supernatural force? A curse placed upon the town? Or was there something much more sinister at play? Two terrifying events, separated by decades, but both leaving behind more questions than answers. A girl who supposedly made a pact with the devil, speaking ancient languages, levitating, and showing inhuman strength. A town plunged into madness, people seeing nightmarish visions, running from invisible creatures, and meeting a gruesome fate. Were these cases of mass hysteria, scientific anomalies, or was there something truly sinister behind them? And here's the real question. Could something like this happen again? Think about it. How many stories like these have been buried, hidden from the public eye? How many other cases of possession, mysterious outbreaks, and unexplained horrors have simply been written off as coincidences? What if we're only scratching the surface of something far greater? Something that has been lurking in the shadows for centuries, waiting for the right moment to strike again? Some believe these events were nothing more than hallucinations. Others are convinced they were part of something far darker, a ritual, a sacrifice, a test. And if that's true, who or what was behind it? Stay with me, because what comes next may change the way you see the world forever. You've heard the stories, you've seen the signs, but now, it's time to uncover the truth hiding beneath the surface. Let's start with Clara Germana Selle. Some say she was just a troubled girl suffering from mental illness. But if that were the case, how do we explain the reports of her speaking multiple languages she had never learned? The levitation, witnessed by dozens of people? The unnatural strength that made grown men struggle to hold her down? Then, there's Pont Saint-Esprit, the official explanation. A contaminated batch of bread, tainted with a hallucinogenic fungus. But if that's true, why do some claim that the US government was conducting a secret experiment on the town using LSD as a form of mind control? Declassified CIA documents suggest that during the 1950s, experiments involving powerful hallucinogens were being tested on unsuspecting civilians. Was Pont Saint-Esprit just another piece of this dark puzzle? Or was it something else entirely? Something ancient, something ritualistic? Both cases share something chilling in common, the idea of sacrifice. Whether it was Clara's soul being offered to a dark force, or the town of Pont Saint-Esprit being used as an experiment, one thing remains clear. These weren't just random events. Someone or something was pulling the strings. And if it happened before, what's stopping it from happening again? So, after everything we've uncovered, what's the truth? Were these just bizarre coincidences? Or were they glimpses into something far more sinister? Clara Germana Selle's case was dismissed by skeptics as religious hysteria. But even today, exorcists and paranormal researchers still cite her possession as one of the most disturbing on record. The town of Pont Saint-Esprit, official reports blame a tainted batch of bread. But the whispers of government experiments, secret rituals, and something far darker refuse to disappear. Maybe these were isolated incidents, or maybe they were part of a pattern, a warning, a reminder that there are forces in this world we still don't understand. But here's the real question. If these forces existed, then what makes you think they aren't still out there? Believe what you will. But remember, some stories refuse to stay buried. What do you think really happened? Was it a supernatural force? A secret experiment? Or something else entirely? Let me know in the comments below. So what do you think? Were these events truly supernatural? Or was there something even more disturbing at play? Was Clara Germana Selle a victim of possession, or just a tragic case of mass hysteria? Was Pont Saint-Esprit the result of tainted bread, or something far more sinister hidden in classified documents? One thing is certain: these stories have never been fully explained, and maybe they never will be. What do you believe? Was this supernatural, a conspiracy, or something else entirely? Let's discuss in the comments. And if you love dark mysteries like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, because there are many more chilling stories waiting to be uncovered.